We are back. Revinyl once again. Okay, so Craig, I want to challenge our listeners, but I've got a really good idea. I want
Okay.
to do more engagement, and we won't be able to do this as we continue to grow. It would be impossible at some point, but for now, I want our listeners to send us an email, something that they love, whether it's 5 albums, 5 bands, 5 songs, and we are going to send them a personal email back with 10 recommendations, whether it's a band or an album or whatever. We're going to
Okay.
send them something in return. And we're not going to do anything with the email. I don't even know how to do that. So I wouldn't know how to sell that off to anyone or anything anyway. So it's just for us, but it's a way to engage with our listeners. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are listening that have music that they listen to. We cover a bunch of stuff, but I'm just throwing it out there right now. If you send us an email with 1 band, 5 bands, and I don't care if it's Barry Manilow, if that's your favorite thing, we're going to send you back 10 recommendations of things we believe you would like. How's that for a deal, Craig?
All right. So you are saying that if somebody says Barry Manilow, go, you're going to come up with 10 recommendations for Barry Manilow? That's big.
Yeah, I'm going to go stereo. Yeah.
That's a bold one. I would say that's a little ambitious. I think 10 recommendations for any artist is pretty ambitious. That's up to you, but
Yeah.
I won't do that personally.
Yeah, I can do that. That's easy. If you told me right now Barry Manilow, I would start going Phoenix, Stereo Lab. I mean, I could come up with. I would need to probably use Apple Music because I mean we're not matching Barry Manilow for other artists in the '70s like Barry Manilow,
Right.
but I'm just using that as an extreme example. If you send us something that you like, I can either send you 10 songs, 10 albums, 10 bands. They may not all match. You know, you say Barry Manilow, I may say, okay, check out The Cure. You know, it doesn't have to be a perfect match. It's just, I think getting
You're just throwing out
recommendation.
bands. You're just throwing out bands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, stuff that I think, okay, if you like, because obviously we're not going to get Barry Manilow, but if someone says, hey, I love Stevie Ray Vaughan, what should I be listening to next?
Right. Okay.
There's so much that we could say. I think we would have a hard time stopping it at 10 in most cases. But like I said,
Right.
we can't do it long term as we grow, but I'd love to get that started. And who knows, we may get some really cool stuff back from people that even we want to mention on air.
Cool.
Maybe somebody's coming to us with some stuff that we have to go research. So bring it on if you got it. Love to hear from you. And just in general, would love to hear from you. But that is revinylpodcast at gmail.com.
Yep.
Right.
It's
Okay.
put at Shawn.
At Shawn.
At
Say
Shawn.
at Shawn. And I will send up recommendations. All right. I'm going to do something really fast here. I got today in the mail Plaid Room Records. I ordered this probably 5 weeks ago, and it's not that I forgot about it, but I'll be honest, I don't even know what I got. So I'm using my trusty utility knife that I reserve for my record boxes that come in the mail, and I'm opening this live for those watching on YouTube. This isn't me just pulling 5 albums out of my collection and saying, hey, look what I just bought. This is me actually opening it. Let's see what we got. I really don't remember. I think I got a Steely Dan record in here. Plaid Room Records, by the way. I mean, look at this box. I mean, come on. 5 records are in here. I know that. Mm-hmm. This box is incredible. Look at how they package. Just for people who haven't ordered, I know Craig's ordered a lot from Plaid Room, and they, of course, they own Coal Mine Records. They send you a nice card every time, sticker. And then when I unwrap this, let's see what I got. Okay. They had a big sale going. That's why I went a little nuts. Not nuts. For me, 5 records is not nuts. Here is a MoFi record, Bill Withers, Still Bill. Really looking forward to checking that out.
I've got that. Yep.
All right. Let's see. I really don't remember what I got. Oh yeah. Music on Vinyl, Boz Scaggs, his first record, which
nice.
A little glare there. That's the one. Dwayne Allman is on this one. Love this. Loan Me a Dime. Love that song. One of my favorite Boz Scaggs songs. You're going to love this. Craig's going to love this. I'm sorry. Kevin's going to love this. Here is Trapeze.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
You,
we're
you're
just
just
you are the music. We're
you're
just
the
the
music.
band.
We're just the band. Yep.
Yep.
That was my album pick of that particular year on schizophrenic music. Yep.
Yeah, what a great.
Overlooked.
There were a trio, great lineup. Dave Holland on drums, who ended up being Judas Priest's drummer. Of course, Mel Galley, who played with everyone from White Snake, and I think he may have even been in Deep Purple at some point, but definitely White Snake. And then Glenn Hughes, who was in Deep Purple.
Yep.
Great lineup. Love Trapeze. All right, next up is Doobie Brothers. I think it's called
Toulouse
Toulouse.
Street. Toulouse Street. Toulouse or Toulouse Street.
Or
Yep.
Toulouse.
Yep.
Yep. Got that. And then finally, what did I get here? This is so exciting. Oh, Joe Eli.
Oh,
Joe Ely.
yeah. I'm not
I
familiar
think
with
this
his
is his
stuff. Know the
first.
name, don't know much of his music, but yeah. Cool.
Yeah, this is called Down on the Drag. I listened to him a long time ago. I really liked him. This was really deep cut on sale. I couldn't resist it because I did like him. He's sort of country rock, 70s, 80s. Really love his stuff back when I used to listen to it. So, yeah, just got those in the mail. So I got a lot to listen to. All right, we're going to jump right in. We are going to do today, we're going to skip the 0 through or the 1 through 10 for this week, as well as the either or. We'll get back to that next week. And what we're going to do today, we're going to go back to the Uncut Greatest Albums of the 90s. This is the magazine for those who are just starting or maybe haven't listened to all the episodes back. It's been probably 7 or 8 episodes since we've done this, but I got this magazine, 500 Greatest Albums of the 90s. And Craig had the interesting idea of what if I just randomly picked a number 1 through 500 and let's see what band pops up. And it's been very interesting, very diverse, very eclectic. Uncut Magazine, great UK music magazine. If you've never checked it out, y'all really need to. It comes out monthly, comes with a free CD, but we have found some stuff in here that we love, found some stuff in here that we don't love, and we found some stuff in here we've never heard of. A lot. Yep. It's been pretty amazing because this is our wheelhouse in the 90s. I think we're going to run through 20 today. Craig keeps a running list of everything that we have already picked so that we don't duplicate.
Yep.
And we've now narrowed it down to 1 through 250 because we realized that we would be 90 years old before we got through the 500. So with that, Craig, you start calling out the numbers and I'll call out the artist and the album.
All right, let's go with 247.
Oh, going almost to the edge. 247. Okay, Robert Wyatt, Sleep. I don't have much of an opinion on Robert Wyatt. I've listened to some of his stuff. Are you familiar with him?
I don't think so.
He was a part of the Soft Machine.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably why I don't know him.
It's just kind of weird. Yeah. And the solo stuff, I mean, critics love Robert Wyatt. I've got a couple of his records, and I could never really, I wanted to get into them, but I never really could get into it. So the album is called Sleep, Shleep. It almost looks like it would be a children's record or something, like with nursery rhymes, the way the album cover looks. Okay. All right. Next.
All right. 232.
232. Oh, yeah. Paul Westerberg, Suicane Gratification. I haven't listened to that in a long time.
Very underrated album. He dug pretty deep for that one. He took a little bit more chances. It's a little bit more somber at times. Great album. Great album. I think that's his third solo album. Great album.
Yeah, produced by Don Was. That guy. If he puts his thumbprint on it, it's usually pretty good. Okay.
All right. What about 201?
All right, we're working our way down. I like it. 201. Oh my gosh. Fuchit Susha. Self-titled record. Galaxy Gobbling out rock from this Japanese trio. Never heard of it. It's Fushit Susha. Fushitsusha. You ever heard of it?
Nope. Next.
Next.
What about 213?
Oh boy. Mar Shalal Hashbaz. Return visit to Rock Mass. That's going to be a big next for me.
Yeah, for sure. There's 3 right there that I just Nope. Next.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. What about 196?
All right, bring us something good here, Craig. Okay. Another artist that I'm familiar with, but I've never really listened to a lot of his stuff. This is John Cale, Walking on Locust.
I'm not sure if there's 2 or 3 albums that I've listened to from John Cale just based off recommendation from, not completely sold on him like some of my other friends are, but very, very talented. I can't remember if that's one of the 3 albums I listened to, but all 3 of them are really good. It's not the easiest music to listen to, I recall, but yeah, highly regarded though.
Paris 1919 was, I think, his big critically acclaimed record. This particular album from, I think it's 99, had David Byrne and Mo Tucker, among others, on the guest list. It's art rock. Yeah, it's not really my thing. All right.
What about 178?
By the way, for the listeners, we've never had so many strikeouts before. This is crazy, but fun nonetheless. Oh my gosh, here's another one I've never heard of. The band is called. This is on Drag City, so you might know this one from 1997. It's called Movie Tone. The album's called Day and Night.
I couldn't tell you anything about it, but yeah, if it was on Drag City, I listened to it. What was the year?
97.
Whew. 97 would be right in that peak. And at that point, I was really ingesting so much music, it's hard to tell if some of the stuff, I'll say this, if it didn't grab me at the time, I was such a sponge that I just said next. So I'm going to say next on that, but it's not because I don't like the band. It's just I don't recall really liking it.
Yeah. It gets a little credibility because it's Drag City Records.
Great
The
label.
album cover is super cool looking. It's slowcore, so we know that much about it. But all right, we'll move on.
I'll check them. I'll revisit them for sure. What about 166?
This is probably your favorite record of the 90s. Spice Girls. Spice. I mean, I could tell you there's a couple songs on that record that I would know because I've heard them on the radio or videos. I have never actively ever in my life listened to Spice Girls. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, it doesn't interest me whatsoever. I could tell you, yes, I have actively listened to maybe a song by Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, but I don't know. Spice Girls never captured my attention whatsoever.
I don't have anything against them, and I'm sure if it was played on the radio, if they had a single, I've heard all the singles, but I'm very interested in. I'm curious to how that slipped all the way to 166. They were huge in England, so I don't have anything against them. So
I'm curious how it made the top 500. I mean, and I'm being serious about that because so much of this music that's in here is very highbrow. You know, even the stuff that we can't even pronounce the names we've never heard of. And then right in the middle of that, you have Spice Girls, which is crazy to me.
You know, I just think
I'm really
more credits to the Brits, man, because I think that's the breadth of their music. They can get down in the weeds, they can get really obscure and artsy, and then they can kind of let themselves go and just listen to something for pop entertainment. So I think it's cool.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good on them. All right.
What about 154?
All right. The number 154 album. Okay. I've tried this before and I just couldn't make it work. And I know critics love this record, The Magnetic Fields, 69 Love Songs. No.
I
tried, man. Did you try?
Yeah. I've so many people love that album.
Yeah.
So many people love Magnetic Fields. No, I just
Yeah.
and I don't say that just to be, just to kind of go against the grain. I earnestly went and attempted that on multiple occasions. The box set came in on
Yeah.
CD years ago, and I just bought it. And I think I had it for like a week. I tried. I'd play it in the store.
Yeah.
And finally, like one of the other coworkers wanted it. I said, "Here, man, you can have it." So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you play it in the store and people are leaving instead of staying, it's time to change the record. Same thing. I've tried it. I've tried some of the other magnetic field stuff too. It's not for me. All right. What you got next?
147.
Oh, right. Now we're finally getting somewhere. Number 147 is Ride, Going Blank Again.
Oh man,
so good.
Probably my
And
favorite. Probably my favorite Ride album. Not
it's
probably.
very
It is
complete.
my favorite Ride album. Yeah.
Okay. It's probably second for me. I still love the first one better, I think, completely, but Twisterella is my absolute favorite song by Ride. It's such a basic, simple song, and I know other people would go Vapor Trails or something. For me, Twisterella is just one of the greatest songs of the 90s.
It's interesting
Love
because
this
for
album.
me, Nowhere was my entry point. And if you're going just for straight to the gut shoegaze, then Nowhere is your album. But if you want more diversity and you want a blend of dream pop, shoegaze, Brit pop,
Yep.
that's what you want. You want Going Blank Again. So yeah. I think their evolution as far as a shoegaze band to me was one of the better evolutions. And it was pretty quick too.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely went more Britpop on this record. I need to go back and listen to it. I bet I haven't listened to it in over a year. But all right, good. We're finally back on track. Thank goodness. I was getting nervous.
All right. What about 127?
Oh my gosh. All right. This is going to spawn a little conversation because this is one of the most disappointing records of all time for me. And I'm not saying it's all bad. In fact, I haven't listened to it in 20 years.
I know what
probably.
it is. Let me guess. Let me guess. Stone Rose's Second Coming.
You got it.
Yep. I knew it. I'm
Yeah.
shocked that is 127. I mean, absolutely flabbergasted. Yeah. That is notoriously one of the most maligned. Now, look, the single, absolutely blistering.
Oh my gosh.
That song is incredible, but it's almost like I listen to that as like that kicks ass, but that's the Stone Roses. That sounds nothing like the first album. And a lot of the Britpop bands went this direction for this kind of Rolling Stones, kind of Southern rock kind of vibe. Probably Scream even did it at one point.
Yeah, very bluesy. Kula Shaker, remember them?
Yep, loved Kula Shaker.
There was all these. Yeah, it just, I guess, credit being due, they were evolving the Britpop sound, but man, the first record was so good, and then it took so many years for the second record to come out that you're thinking this is going to be epic. It's kind of the way I felt when I heard Guns N' Roses come out with Chinese Democracy. I think that's the other most disappointing record of my lifetime.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Stone Roses, one of the greatest debut. And for those who don't know Stone Roses, I'm sure we've talked about it on this podcast before. That first record is one of the greatest debut records.
Killer album.
Ever.
I listened to that the other day. Came up in a shuffle, and I could not have been happier to just start the thing from, started from scratch.
So amazing. All right.
What you got? 124.
All right. Oh, I love this record, and I haven't listened to this in years. 124, the Beta Band, the 3 EPs.
Good stuff.
I loved that when it came out, and I just haven't listened to it in so long. I need to own it on vinyl. I don't own it on vinyl. I'm going to go listen to that tonight. I loved that when it came out. I loved Beta Band for a while.
It's excellent. I have to refresh myself real quick. It's not my favorite though. My favorite is Hot Shots 2. I feel like
Yeah.
that to me was a more because the 3 EPs was just that. It was 3 EPs thrown together. I mean,
Yeah.
Dry the Rain, I know it's cliche because that's in High Fidelity. It's such a great song. It is. I mean, I could
So
legitimately see before that ever aired and before that scene was ever broadcast, I could totally see making that move and people just bobbing their head. Like,
hmm
you could totally repeat it.
Yeah.
It's a great album. They're quirky for sure. I just think Hot Shots 2 is brilliant. So I think they got better, and they had another one, Heroes to Zeros. I think was the one that followed Hot Shots 2. I thought that was great too.
I've never listened. I don't think I've ever listened to that record. There was a time when and maybe it was on Hot Shots, that record, they started to remind me a little bit of Prince too. Like they were so funky and quirky and it was so good. For those that don't know the scene we're referencing, and we'll move on, but the movie High Fidelity, it's a book written by Nick Hornby. The movie version shifted from London to Chicago. John Cusack is the main character, record store owner. Jack Black works in the store. And there's a scene where he basically says, if I remember correctly, something to the effect of, "Hey, you want to sell some records? Go put this on," and start playing Beta Band. And people are like, "Hey, what's this?"
Yeah, I think he says, "I will now commence to sell 5 copies of the Beta Band's 3 EPs."
Is that what he says?
I
I
think so.
love it.
Yeah.
It's perfect. And you know what? That is, if I ran a record store, I'd do some of that, because there's some bands that people don't know this, but when they hear it, this is going to move off the shelves very quickly.
Yep.
Love it.
Absolutely.
All right.
117.
Oh, we are working our way down. Love it. 117. All right. Legendary band artist, Beastie Boys, Check Your Head.
Oh,
I don't really know that album
I
much.
I will say this, and it's a little bit of a hot take. That is my favorite Beastie Boys album.
Wow.
I mean, it is
That
hands down my favorite Beastie Boys album. I think their best, most creative album was the second album, Paul's Boutique. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I, I, and this is a really hot take. I think License to Ill is one of my least favorite. I know it's a groundbreaking debut and it's a great album. I just, now knowing what I know about what they learned about that album, I just and what they became, they exceeded that by just mountains. But to me, Check Your Head is my favorite. I just, something about that album, Jimmy James. There's just so many great songs on that record.
Sabotage is on there, right?
Sabotage is not on that.
What?
That's on Ill Communication.
Oh, that's right. That was
That's on
after
the follow
Check
up.
Your
But
Head.
yeah.
I need to go listen to it. I don't know that I've ever listened to this record. Okay. Cool.
All right. What about 103?
One of my favorite bands. And I remember this was a band actually that I loved so much. I remember the night I was in the record store. I came in to see you, and I said, "Have you ever heard of this band or listened to them?" And surprisingly, you knew them, but you never really listened to them. And then I don't know how you felt about it afterwards, but I was telling you that night how much I loved them. Manic Street Preachers.
Yeah. Yep.
And the record is called Everything Must Go. And I remember it because there's not many times. I mean, you worked in a record store. There weren't many artists or bands that I was telling you about. You were telling me about more stuff than I was. But I was really into them, and I love just about everything that they did. I loved they sounded very everything had an urgency to it. I don't know. It's just something about and at times they sounded very big and arena rock sound almost. And I love Manic Street Preachers. So glad that they made the list. Not surprised that they made the list. There's probably other ones in here as well from the 90s.
All right. Next up, we're going to go opposite direction, 130.
All right. Okay. I should know more about this album than I do. I just used this word the other day. So the album is called Homework. The band is Daft Punk. I was just saying something about Daft the other day. I never was into Daft Punk.
Me either. I know that it's kind of, now look, I'm not comparing them to Kraftwerk. I'm not saying they're as innovative as Kraftwerk, but there's just certain sounds that never really appealed to me, and that's kind of like Kraftwerk. I could never get into them.
Yeah, agreed. All right, next.
What about 94?
Okay, we're breaking into the top 100. Let's see, 94. Oh, this will make you very happy. 94, Suede, Coming Up.
Great album. So that's the first album without Bernard Butler. So it was definitely a shift. That's when they brought in Richard Oakes on guitar. It is a very, very slick, very well produced, very Ziggy Stardust, but with just massive, bold production. Really well done. They had to make that kind of move, losing Bernard Butler, and I think they made the right move. I think they might have turned some people off with that album, but in the end, now it's seen in high regards, and it's as one of their, besides their first two albums, it's one of their better reviewed albums. So I think it's great.
All right. What number are we on, by the way, in terms of how many we've done today?
We've done 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I think we've done 15. So
okay.
We got 5 more.
Keep on rolling. Okay,
yeah, man.
I'm ready.
What about 82?
82. This is another band that I honestly at times I like some. Listened to one of their records, I don't know, a year ago or less. The band is Smog. The album is Knock Knock. Bill Callahan.
Yep.
Some stuff I like and some stuff I don't like. I mean, it's very down. What would you say? It's very morose. It's very.
It is.
It can be depressing at times, but some of it you go, "Wow, this is brilliant." But then other songs I just have to skip.
I never really. It's funny because one of the guys that I met here, and he's a good bit younger, much younger. He's probably half my age. Is really big into Bill Callahan and Smog, and he told me you should go back and listen to it. And every time I confuse it with Golden Smog. Very different band. very different band.
I love Golden Smog.
I like some.
They
Golden
probably
Smog.
are not in this top 500, but they should be.
I couldn't tell you one way or the other. I know I've listened to it at one point, but I can't really say anything. I don't know it really right offhand. So.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. What about 80?
Oh man, I'm actually surprised this is all the way back at 80, and I mean that sincerely. Really surprised that number 80 is U2 Achtung Baby. Achtung Baby.
Oh, I mean,
that should not be number 80. That'd be top 30 or top 40 for me.
That's my happy album. Has been for the longest time. I mean, that's just, I know that it was bigger and bolder and really one of their biggest pop albums. Up until that point, it was probably their biggest pop album. But if you really listen to like Love is Blindness and Acrobat and songs like that, there's just some brilliant, brilliant stuff there. And the blend of that moody with Mysterious Ways, with Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses, all of that stuff combined, just the sequence of tracks is almost perfectly placed. I just love that album. And I think the opening cut, Zoo Station, is one of my favorite opening songs because it just,
what a way.
It sounds like a train moving, just kind of building up, and it's perfect to lead the album off. I love that album. So
I agree completely. I listened to that album more all the way through than I would even Joshua Tree. We've talked about this before. Joshua Tree was just so overplayed. It does have probably 2 of my 3 favorite songs by U2 ever on Joshua Tree we've talked about. But to me, Achtung Baby was the last great U2 album.
Absolutely.
Great. I mean,
yep.
There's good albums, but that to me was the last great one. I mean, All That You Can't Leave Behind is a really good album, and it was the last really good album.
Yep.
And then, How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb or whatever, it was their last probably good album. They just kind of started, to me, I started to lose interest, and maybe that's just me. I talked about Red Flag Day, that song on the last podcast. But to me, this record was the last great one.
Yeah, I agree. I think the last really good album for them is No Line on the Horizon. I thought that album was really good. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I haven't really listened to anything since, but All right. What about
if anyone else? I'll just say this really fast. If anyone else had released No Line on the Horizon or How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb, we would think more highly of it. I know we would.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the
They
it's
set the
the
bar so
U2
high.
effect. It's kind of it's like Pearl Jam. I mean, after 10, every album to me got a little bit less and less for me. If that was another band, I'd be like, oh my gosh, have you heard this new band? They just did this album called Yield. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But it's just another Pearl Jam album.
All right, moving on to 66.
Okay, I had to really read this album title. The band is Underworld. This is going to be a next for me. Dub no bass within Headman, all one long word. That is an absolute next for me. Don't even have an opinion.
I know of. In fact, I had that on CD at one point. It just goes to show I bought so much stuff that I actually didn't really listen to.
Yeah.
I think I was into that before. Maybe kind of a little like the whole dubstep thing. So maybe it's got a little bit of Portishead in it, but darker and not as, I don't know, not as cool. I don't know. I can't really speak to it, but I did own it at one point. But once again, I forgot. So
yeah, right. The big song was Born Slippy by them, right? I don't even know if it was on that album. That's a cool song. I always think of Train Spotting when I think of Underworld.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's all I know. That's my only reference point. Okay.
Yep. All right. What about 30?
Ooh, now we're getting serious here. Number 30. You're forcing me to flip several pages. Oh my gosh, this is perfect. Perfect timing. How this is number 30 actually is a huge head scratcher, especially because this is a UK magazine. This is definitely top 15 for me. Oasis, What's the Story, Morning Glory. I mean, holy cow. What an album.
That's 30? Oh,
30
on Uncut. What is happening?
Yeah.
I would not have been surprised if that was number one.
I wouldn't have either. And I would probably have it if I really thought through it. I think it would be a top 5, definitely top 10 for me.
Yeah.
I love that album.
I do love that album. I'm a definitely maybe guy. I love the rawness of it. But What's the Story? I mean, is notoriously one of the best Britpop albums of all time. And for that to be, wow, I'm shocked. I mean, what can you say? Everybody knows that. I mean, there's very few Britpop bands that crossed over into America and made an impact. And if there's one album, it's that album. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, the title track alone, for those that don't know, because that wasn't one of the big hits, unbelievable. But then you have Some Might Say, Wonderwall, Roll With It, Don't Look Back in Anger, Champagne Supernova, She's Electric. Oh my gosh. I mean, that is like a greatest hits album. Seriously. That's a greatest hits album right there.
It is.
Now that I read all those off again, and because I probably haven't listened to the album end to end in a year or two, that's a top 5 record for me in the 90s. But okay, number 30, big surprise.
All right, so we're gonna cap things off. We're gonna cut that in half at 15. So I'm dying to know what 15 is compared to Oasis at 30.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the stuff that I can't tell you as I'm flipping through and going, how is this rated above What's the Story, Morning Glory? Okay, number 15. Passing some good ones. Number 15, Heaven or Las Vegas, Cocteau Twins.
Oh, I absolutely adore that album. That is my favorite Cocteau Twins. That's the first one I bought. It's the only one that I have on vinyl right now. And it's the very first thing I thought of. I love that album. It's better produced than their earlier stuff. It's not as murky. It certainly isn't as mysterious as the first couple of albums. I think it's perfect. I really do. It's one of those albums. It's a dream pop album that you can actually play in a group setting that would work. Because it's bright enough, it's poppy enough to where either somebody's going to focus in on it and go, man, this is really good, or it serves as such good background music that it just puts you in a good mood. We were in Paris and we went to McKellar's. It's a brewery out there, and it was their French location, of course. And I remember when that played, I realized at that time I don't have this on vinyl, and I think I bought it right there in the spot. Because I was just like, how do I not own this? And I actually thanked the guy behind the counter. I go, thank you so much. And we traded off music. I introduced him to real estate.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, we're wrapping up here. I'm gonna do an on the fly either or. I'm looking at another magazine for inspiration here.
Okay.
70s records.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do 5 of these on the fly.
Okay.
All right. Exile on Main Street or Sticky Fingers?
Exile.
Okay. Blonde on Blonde or Nashville Skyline?
Blonde on Blonde.
All right. AC/DC or Black Sabbath?
I can go on AC/DC.
Ooh, really?
Mhm.
I that's a surprise to me. Okay.
Yep.
I like it. Okay. Willie Nelson or Waylon Jennings?
Oh, that's shit. Sorry, pardon my French there. I'm gonna go Willie because what's not to love about Willie? I think Waylon is one that's I know vaguely, and Willie, everything I hear from Willie makes me happy, so I'm going Willie.
All right. John Prine or Jackson Browne?
John Prine all the way. I love John Prine.
All right. Okay. I love early Jackson Browne. I do love John Prine. John Prine is probably one of the most underrated songwriters ever.
Absolutely.
His songs are absolutely brilliant. Not everybody loves his voice, but the humor, the sadness, everything. He paints full pictures. He tells movies in his songs. I love John Prine.
And like you said, you mentioned the humor. The very first thing I thought of was his wit and his sense of humor. And even when it's sad, it's not downtrodden. It's done with humor.
Yeah.
That's what I love about him.
Yeah. Love him. We'll wrap up with this. Speaking of Waylon Jennings, I'm reading this book on the Allman Brothers. It's actually focused on the time period after Dwayne passes and after then a year later, the bass player Barry Oakley passes. They regroup. They do the classic album Brothers and Sisters, which really put them on the commercial map.
Yep.
But people that were in the know about music knew the Allman Brothers, especially after the Fillmore record. And there was a time period where the Grateful Dead and the Allman Brothers did a lot of shows together.
Right.
And in fact, there's one show in particular, I guess, where they joined on stage. They did it a lot, but they joined on stage and no one has a recording of it. But people that were there just say, wow, just incredible. But they did a couple of shows. It was a triple bill. Grateful Dead, Allman Brothers, and Waylon Jennings.
That's unreal.
I never knew that. How cool is that? Because that would have been pre-Waylon. That would have been pre-Outlaw for Waylon, but right before, because it's probably 72, 73 time frame.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, that is really cool. Who knew that Waylon Jennings shared a bill with the Allman Brothers and the Grateful Dead?
Yeah, that's unreal.
Yeah.
That ranks up there as one of the, as far as a trio of a lineup, that's up there for sure.
Yeah, you could say almost any other band or artist that wouldn't have surprised me as much as Waylon Jennings. But I got to figure I bet Waylon and Dickie Betts were probably pretty tight. They were probably kindred spirits, both from the South. I think they both enjoyed, I know Dickie Betts was big into Western swing music,
Yep.
jazz. Waylon probably was as well. They probably had some mutual music taste that worked together. But yeah, thought that was really cool.
Very cool.
All right. That's a wrap. And like I said, y'all send your stuff in, email us.
Yeah.
And Craig has put it on me. I will come up with a list of 10 to reply back and say, here are some things you should be listening to.
Depending on who it is, I will contribute for sure. But when you mention Barry Manilow, I got nothing. So, but yeah, revinylpodcast at gmail.com.
Yeah, revinylpodcast at gmail.com. I have a sneaking suspicion that none of our listeners will say Barry Manilow. I hope not. If they do, actually, you know what? No shame.
Cool. Yeah.
You come to the right place because we're going to help steer you down some other paths. I don't want to take you away from Barry. If you love Barry, that's great. But we'll get you into some other directions as well.
We'll find the songs for you.
Yep. All right.
All right, man.
It's a wrap. Thank you, everyone, for listening. See you next week.